I have grown an extraordinary amount when it comes to prayer and my interaction with the Lord. As a lot of you may know, I began just with yelling and just praying so loudly and boldly in the prayer room during my earlier days as a Christian. Now it's completely different. I may go in the forest and pray loud at times or pray in the Spirit, right? That may happen, but typically 9 times out of 10, I am quiet before God, kneeling down or sitting down, and I am communicating with the Lord from an inward place. You can call it the spirit, the heart, the soul, whatever it is. I'm communicating to him without the mouth. And I have found my relationship with the Lord deepen so greatly by pressing into that part of our relationship, going after God from the inward place. And what that has done for me is carry over into the next day where I feel his presence and his nearness so much more because I'm not relying upon the outward expressions. I'm not relying upon words or the English language. I am relying on this deep connection with God. As the scriptures say, we become one with him in spirit, right? I mean, how much deeper can you get than spirit? And when I read the Bible, I see that Jesus is not so much impressed with outward communication with God. Of course, we should pray outwardly. I still pray outwardly at times, right? I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm just saying when I read the scriptures, Jesus said, go into your closet, right? And I believe the closet, yeah, it's a place to be with him, maybe in your room, away from others. But think about this, the closet can also be inward. I mean, I can communicate with God in the grocery store as I'm going through the aisles inwardly, and nobody knows, right? God wants to communicate with us in a secret place. You know, when I'm with my wife, right, and we're intimate, we're not doing that out in the open, right? We're not going to do that in the open, right? And that's not happening. There's a level of intimacy that we possess that is only for us to have. And same thing goes with God. When you have a relationship with the Lord, you need to cultivate this inward, deep, intimate relationship with him that nobody else can see, because the Lord likes to reward things done in private. This is something I want to work on. I want to do things for God without anybody else knowing. It's just him. He just knows about it. And now you may say, wow, that's difficult. Like, it's hard to pray inwardly, right? That's okay. Like, you can practice, you know, here and there throughout the day. You can just say, I love you, Lord, like inwardly. It's something you grow in, right, to communicate mentally and internally with the Lord. It's not something I think anybody can just jump into. I've been cultivating this for years, but I am just telling you, it is a great goal to aim for, to be able to communicate with God and spend your quiet time inwardly with him, because it can be a very powerful experience, right? It can be a very deep and satisfying experience to feel the Lord inside and to communicate with him from the inside out. Now, while you're having this inward experience with God, how do you discern the guidance of the Lord? Because a lot of the time I spent with God is really beholding him, looking at him inwardly, just trying to press my focus upon him and maybe communicating some words. But there is a significant amount of time where I'm asking God for direction, right? I want to make sure I'm on the right track. So I would just say, Lord, am I on the right track? And I'll visualize what I'm doing, whether it's videos or it's the Pneuma Breath app or it's God Sounds YouTube videos or it's creating more business opportunities or it's doing outreach or spending time with my family. I'll just kind of present these things to God, visualizing them before him. And I'll just say, Lord, am I on the right track? What is it you want me to focus on? What is the important things you want me to do? And in those moments, I'll feel intuitively, I'll just feel this confidence concerning certain tasks. I'll also feel the opposite for things that maybe God doesn't want me to do, right? I have a lot of ideas, and it's very interesting. I may be super passionate about an idea, like I want to start a YouTube channel about health and fitness and things like that, and I felt like it was a great idea, but when I brought that to the Lord in prayer, when I got still before him and I presented that idea to him, I felt like the Lord was like, no, that's not a priority. Like, don't focus on that right now, which was interesting because remember, my mind was like, hey, this is a great idea. So that's when I'm like, okay, cool. I think this is the Lord, because I was excited for it. But once I prayed about it and gave it to him, he steered me in a different direction, showing me that was not the priority. So I'll typically do that at nighttime or maybe during the day, and I'll just present these things to God, because think about it, He knows the best use of your time and your resources. If you're a Christian, you love the Lord, I don't think you want to waste your time, right? I don't think you want the Lord to look down and be like, why is He doing that, right? Because He wants to show us what to do. He's a good Father. He's good at giving us insight. And so for me, a great way for finding out guidance from the Lord is simply visualizing these things before Him and presenting them to Him and asking Him, Lord, is this a priority? Is this what you want me to do? Is there something I'm missing here? Because I do not want to waste my time. And if visualizing is difficult for you, you can always ask the Lord. You can ask Him questions and say, Lord, do you want me to keep working at this job? Lord, what major do you want me to pursue? Lord, am I doing good to my family? And then just wait. Just pause and let Him answer, right? I mean, you ask a question to somebody in this life and you don't give them a chance to answer. I mean, that's pretty frustrating for the other person. So ask God questions, but also give time for Him to answer. And if you don't hear anything, it's okay, right? You can always write it down. The important part is you're pursuing God in prayer because you want His guidance, because you care about what He says, because you love Him, right? And because you trust He knows better for your life than you do. And the last thing I'll say on this is, for me, sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it's not an immediate response. If you're not fully confident in a certain course of action, it may be best for you to wait and not pursue it, right? Until you feel that confidence from the Lord. For me, I feel this deep level of confidence. You know, sometimes it's just bursting forth. I'm like, I got to do it. I feel like I'm supposed to do it, right? But we learn as we grow, because of course we have emotions. Of course we're in a physical body. And sometimes we get it conflated, this whole thing of, I feel like God wants me to do this. In reality, it's just you, right? You want to do it. So best course of action is to take it in prayer, take it over a course of time. If it's a massive decision, like my wife and I, we felt to move from Florida to Tennessee, right? It wasn't a day thing. It wasn't like, hey, Lord, you want us to move? And then we did it. It was, okay, this is a massive decision. This is going to require a lot of time to pray and think about it and really say, Lord, is this what you're calling us to do? There's a lot more to talk about on this topic, and maybe I'll make more videos in the future. But I want to encourage you guys, if you haven't already, download the Pneuma Breath app we released. There are plenty of meditations that you can utilize to help you grow in your relationship with God, to understand His guidance and direction for your life.
This meditation was brought to you by the all-new Pneuma Breath app. Download it from the App Store and grow your relationship with God through biblically based, spirit-led meditations. We look forward to seeing you there. Pneuma Breath, connecting you with God.